Today's NBA is richer with offensive talent than ever before, and the list of teams loaded with multiple stars is ridiculously deep. Luka and Kyrie, Jokic and Murray, Giannis and Dame, Kawhi, PG and Harden, KD, Book and Beal. But the NBA's number one offense right now doesn't belong to a super team, and it isn't led by a real household name. Nope, leading the NBA with an offensive rating of 121.5 are the Indiana Pacers. And the genius driving that success is Tyrese Haliburton. Conversations about Hallie tend to start with his passing, as they should. He's leading the league by a lot right now with almost 12 assists per game, but we can't undersell his brilliance as a scorer and how the two skill sets are essential to complementing one another. After all, if he were just a great passer and weren't averaging nearly 24 points per game on better than 64% true shooting, we wouldn't see teams frequently trying to trap him late in games, doing anything to get the ball out of his hands, even knowing that he's an excellent passer. Hallie is one of the league's best deep pull-up shooters. He made the 5th most pull-up threes in the NBA last season at a 40% clip, and when he can do this to you and is in the middle of dropping 43 points on you and made 40% of his step-back threes last season, you start to panic. So you send two defenders his way, 7'1" Mark Williams and 6'9" Brandon Miller, and LaMelo slides over to tag the roller as he has to. So naturally, Tyrese rises up under all that pressure with two 7-foot-plus wingspans waving in his face and fires a fastball skip pass to Bruce Brown in the weak side corner. The literal perfect play that fewer than a handful of guys in the league today could make with any regularity. But Tyrese, with his size, vision, unselfishness, creativity, and accuracy as a passer, is one of them. Hallie's blend of scoring and playmaking brilliance is very evident out of pick and roll, where he creates with 92nd percentile efficiency. Any defense running a drop coverage against him, as so many do, are basically in a living nightmare, because when a big man drops to take away chances around the rim, he's likely to concede two types of looks to the offense: a floater or mid-range pull-up to the ball handler, or a pick and pop jumper for the screener. Unfortunately for defenses, the same shooting touch that makes Hallie special from beyond the arc makes him lethal inside it, as one of the league's premier intermediate shot makers, currently shooting 52% both on floaters and from mid-range this season. He's also an excellent passer who plays a vast majority of his minutes with legitimate pick and pop bigs, primarily Miles Turner, but also Jalen Smith. So a Haliburton pick and roll feels almost guaranteed to create a good look. And as Hallie sets up this pick and pop game, you see that there's a real functional flashiness to his passing. He's extremely comfortable making these over-the-head passes to poppers, which allows him to occupy defenders until the last second and are more efficient since he doesn't forecast the pass and doesn't have to turn his body to the shooter. He's also great at hook passes, which allow him to quickly fire the ball over defenders at his size. And he may be the most effective no-look passer in the NBA today. He is a true genius in his ability to manipulate defenders with his eyes to open up passing angles that wouldn't otherwise exist. Here, his eyes are locked onto Jalen Smith the entire time, which is the intuitive read, and that moves Brandon Miller up to cover the pick and pop, which opens up the exact window Hallie needed to deliver a perfectly on-target, no-look dime. He does it again here. His eyes are glued to Turner, which moves Allen up to contest the pick and pop and creates a wide open look for one of the best shooters ever with another perfectly on target pass. Here's another where he moves Levine up to the wing and then makes a perfect pass through a ton of traffic to a now wide open Andrew Nembhard. We normally think about creation primarily in terms of weaponizing attention the player himself draws. A Giannis drive demands aggressive help, which will leave a shooter open, but you can also create unique chances by tricking the defenses into focusing on the wrong teammate of yours. Few guys can do this regularly, but Hallie is one of them. He does also demand attention as a driver though. He's not an elite athlete, but he's a slithery mover with excellent change in pace and a nasty hesitation which makes him hard to stay in front of. He's also been very efficient at the rim throughout his career, where he has good size and impressive body control and creativity with excellent touch on scoop finishes. He's not some rim pressuring monster, but he's solid there. But for the most part, when Hallie hits the paint, he's looking to create for a teammate. As we saw earlier, he's a very strong skip passer, and he has an elite shooting cast alongside him. The Pacers are currently 2nd in three-pointers made and 4th in three-point percentage, and that's exactly what he needs to be at his best. Play finishers who can capitalize on his playmaking. In fact, Hallie is so great specifically at finding shooters that a whopping 72% of the baskets he's assisted on this year have been three-pointers, which means that he's on pace to set the record for assist points created, a stat that's been tracked for a decade. I remember seeing a debate last year about if Hallie was really creating at a high level, if he was putting pressure on defenses and warping them to focus on him as the great offensive players do, or if he was just sort of executing the offense, making the simple passes to take what was already there and just racking up assists because he had the ball so much. And the answer is clearly the former. Even most of Hallie's unremarkable assists are still a product of him drawing multiple defenders. If it's just a defender sliding over to offer soft help on a drive, or two players sticking with him out of pick and roll, defenses are constantly worried about his scoring, and he quickly anticipates that and hits his teammates while the window is there. He takes the easy stuff as a passer, and he takes some real chances, but he's almost never reckless, averaging an impressively low 2.6 turnovers per game. Now, does he have the audacity of a Jokic or Magic as a passer? Of course not. But he's definitely not overly conservative. He's a special creator who's also an excellent ball handler and rarely over dribbles his way into trouble, badly misses his target, or forecasts a pass. But like those genius passers I just mentioned, Hallie's brilliance isn't at all limited to the half court. In fact, he's one of the league's best transition players, and big ball handlers often thrive in the full court, but Hallie's transition value is distinct. Yes, he can come downhill and either finish at the rim or kick out to a shooter, but he's also a genius hit-ahead passer. As the old saying goes, nobody moves faster than the ball, and Hallie is extremely aware of his teammates running the floor hard and defenders lagging behind. Here, he's barely touched the ball before he launches this perfectly 40 feet down the floor for a free bucket. There's no easier time to score than running out in transition when a defense isn't set, and Haliburton understands this as well as anybody and is the best transition conductor in the NBA today. And that's essential to the Pacers' identity. They're a prototypical pace and space offense, second in three-pointers made, second in pace. Now, as we rave about Indiana's offensive brilliance, it's important to also give credit to Hallie's supporting cast. He has good pick and pop bigs, elite spot-up shooters like Buddy Hield and Aaron Nesmith, great athletes running the floor in transition like Bruce Brown and Obi Toppin, a great athlete and solid pull-up shooter like Benedict Mathurin, plus they've got the honorable Andrew Nembhard. Of course, they have complementary talent that fits their identity. But you don't see another star creator on this roster. You see quality role players who are largely dependent on somebody manufacturing offense for them. That's what Tyrese does. With him on the floor, the Pacers have a mind-blowing offensive rating of 125.5 and are 6-2. In the lone game he missed, they posted an offensive rating of under 100, and the Celtics crushed them by 51 points. With Hallie on the floor, the Pacers outscore their opponents by 10 plus points per 100 possessions, and without him, they get outscored by 5. Of course, it's early, and we have to keep that in mind with all of these numbers, but Hallie's currently on pace to become the 5th player ever to average 23 points and 11 assists per game for a season, joining Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, James Harden, and Tiny Archibald. Not to mention he's doing so on true shooting efficiency, 7.5 points better than league average. He's a rare breed. Excellent both in half-court and transition, as a scorer and a passer, predominantly an on-ball creator, but also solid off-ball due to his excellent spot-up shooting. He both has the tools and the mind to lead great offenses for a long time. And the Pacers probably won't finish the year #1 in offensive rating. The Nuggets and Celtics of the world are just so stacked. But Indiana's a damn good offense, and there are very few players today, and certainly no other 23-year-olds who could have them in this position. He's undeniably a top 20 player today, and the future is even brighter.